Hey Hannah, how's it going? Thanks so much for the 39 months. Welcome back as usual. And Grand Toasty, welcome back, man. Thanks so much for the 30. Do I love farming or do I love farming? At some point, we all ask ourselves that. But thanks so much for the 30. And hey, Fiery Typic, what's going on, man? Thanks so much for the 28 months. Space, yeah. How many gachas can I fit into one stream? And Zelt, 3285, thanks so much for the 4-month resub, welcome back. This is true dedication. I haven't seen any other streamer do something as insane as this, so yeah, I would say so too. Been a while since you last saw this screen. Yeah, same here too. Alright. Start off with some Genshin. You think now's a good time to roll Scotty Alter, or do you think she's gonna get a banner? Arknights? As far as I'm aware, limited characters, once their first banner passes, they don't get another banner. Unless the Chinese server has done that already. But I've never seen a limited banner, feature a previous limited operator, that's already had a rate up. So like, since Scotty Alter already had a an initial banner like last year or so, she's never gonna get another main feature banner again. The best you can hope for is if she is one of the 3 other limited operators that come up in another future limited banner. So that way you can either roll for them directly from gacha if you get spooked, or you can build up 300 pity and roll for and then exchange for them directly from pity. That's the only way you're going to be able to get them. So it's not even a question of should you roll her now. If you want her, you don't ask, you just roll, because that's the best you're going to get. Like, I'm assuming you're thinking that Scotty Alter will get another banner in the future, right? That's not how Arknights works. Not from what I remember. Once a limited 6-star operator gets a feature banner, like when they first come out, they're not going to get another one again. So yeah, if you want Scotty Alter, basically the short answer is you roll now. Because who knows when she's gonna be featured again on another limited banner. Because they don't all come back for whenever we do get a limited banner. There's only like 3 other limited 6-stars that do come back, and they're on rotation. From like a banner a banner on banner basis, if that makes any sense. So like the 3 that you see on our current limited banner right now for Mumu. I think the 3 are Scotty Alter, NTRK, and somebody else. I forget who. Like those are the only 3. Those are the only other 3 limited 6-stars you're gonna be able to roll for. You can't roll for Chen Alter until she comes back with another future limited banner in the future. Hopefully you get her this time. Yeah, best of luck, man. Hey Taiji, how's it going, man? It confused you are, how's it going? Welcome back, I'm doing alright. Hey, this guy rolls, thanks for redeeming ooh. Hopefully hope y'all are feeling ooh tonight. You got a free copy of Scotty Alter from today's free single. Hey. Kind of hoping I get another copy of Hoholheok from from free singles, but probably not gonna happen. Oh, there he is. Okay. That one. Have you seen Enfield gameplay from the tech test? Yeah, I've been watching Kilston's live streams. I've been catching his live streams whenever he's been streaming though. I think I've been able to catch all of them so far. Like as in watch them live. Looks interesting. My initial impressions just from watching are that it looks an awful lot like Wuthering Waves. The color scheme, like the artistic design, reminds me a lot of Wuthering Waves actually. And I do like how the rest of your party is actually out and about with you, unlike in Genshin where you can only have one character out at a time. Like it actually, honestly, the comparison between, like in this narrow respect of having your whole team out on the field as opposed to what Genshin does, kind of reminds me of what PGR, reminds me of the comparison I make between PGR and Ether Gazer, where in PGR you only have one character out at a time when you have a team of 3, but then in Ether Gazer you have the same squad size, team size, but all of your characters are out at the same time, and your teammates are AI controlled and help you. Like, that Arknight's Enfield actually reminds me a ton of Ether Gazer in that respect, where it's like, oh, you have the same team size as Genshin, but instead of only having one character out at a time, you have all of them out at the same time. And all your teammates, the ones that you aren't controlling, are AI controlled. I don't like the fact that there's no defensive options, though, at least none that I can see. I know there are shields and stuff, but at least Genshin, you have, like, dodging. Like, everybody can dodge. And, like, dodging in Genshin is, like, kind of the core, you know, defense mechanic for you to avoid damage. And, like, to cancel, like, cancel the animations of your characters taking damage if they do get hit. But I don't see any of that in Arknights, and I'm not too sure how that's going to work out. I'm a little bit nervous in that respect, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't, like, how are you, like, what kind of defensive options are you gonna have in Enfield other than shields? Like, if you don't run a shielder, are you fucked? Like, how's that gonna work? But yes, I have been I have been catching quite a bit of Kyosen streams. I think towards the end, endgame Arc Enfield for now is literally just tinkering with your base and trying to min-max that shit. Probably. From what I can tell, anyway. Spent your tickets on Red Hood. Every single 10-roll gave you an SSR, but none of them was Red Hood. Yeah, man. Same here. Like, the first, like, the week or so, the week and a half that it took for me to roll Red Hood finally, I got, like, 10 or 11 different SSRs. And out of the total number of SSRs I got, it took me to get Red Hood, like only one of them was Red Hood. Like, I showed my stream, I think, the last time I streamed, what is it? The quad SSR roll that I got in Nikkei to finally get Red Hood, only one of them was Red Hood. Like, I feel like for Red Hood's banner, like, a ton of people have been getting spooked way more than usual. It's actually kind of hilarious. It's like, yeah, coin flip my ass. Nice fucking coin flip, Nikkei. But yeah, we've all been getting our asses spooked hella hard, I feel like. Oh, excuse me. Hey, King 7, how's it going, man? How have I been doing? Doing alright. A little bit. Took you a second to realize all the gachas I have set up aren't just gifts. Oh, yeah, no, they're all running at the same time. They're not gifts. Some people think that, some people will come to my stream whenever I have all my gachas up, whenever I have this kind of stream setup going on. Think that, oh, are they just like all still images or like GIFs or whatever? No, I actually have them all running at the same time. Okay, let's go do rep quests, I think. Still working on Fontaine's rep. Hey, Fear, welcome back. How's it going? Have you seen the trailer for Night Dust Abyss? Is that a new gacha game? Because if so, I have not. Hydrate damage. You got 4 pilgrims before you manage to limit break Red Hood. I mean, hey, sounds like a good deal to me. How much RAM do I have? I think 32 gigs. Yeah, it should be 32 gig RAM. 32 gig RAM, i9 processor. So, it can handle these games, though. To be fair, like my PC is starting to feel it. Like having this many gacha games or this many, yeah, the ones that have PC clients, those are no problem. It's the emulators that are kind of dragging it down because, you know, emulators. Everything else can handle no problem. It's just the number of emulators that I have running at the same time can kind of drag it down a little bit. Only thing you hate about gacha multitasking is Star Rail limits your monitor's refresh rate to 60? Really? That's fucking bizarre. What? Why is that even a thing? I should probably check my PC's refresh rate in case for some reason Star Rail's reset that shit too. It's like Warframe, but oh, is it that new Chinese gacha that's literally a carbon copy of Warframe? Like the trailer was like literally, it literally copied one of the Warframe trailers, almost scene for scene. Because I think when I was lurking in Sweetly's stream, I think Sweetly actually was watching that trailer on her stream. Because if that's the game, then yeah, I've seen it. Thanks to me lurking in Miss Sweetly's stream. How much RAM do you have? Yeah, 32 gig RAM. Finally got Furina's weapon. Hey, congrats, man. %88 crit damage, by the way. We all love 88% crit damage weapons, don't we? Oh, these guys are Hydro. Okay, these guys are fucked. That's the one? Okay, then yeah. Yeah, I've seen it then. Thanks to me lurking in another Genshin streamer's stream. So yeah, I've seen it. I mean, hey, it seems interesting. And again, since I play Snowbreak because I like I do play Snowbreak because I like shooters. So who knows? Maybe I'll pay more attention to it once you know, more information about it. Not sure how long, how far into its development cycle it's gone, but yeah, maybe it'll be something interesting. Also, this guy rules. Thanks so much for the hype chat. Unfortunately, I think I heard Twitch is actually gonna do away with the hype chats because hardly anybody uses it. But I mean, who cares? But yeah, thanks so much for the hype chat. This guy rules. Much appreciated. And good luck in your seasonal job coming up. Yep, I start, today's the 13th. I start on the 17th, so yeah, this Friday. So yeah, been kind of busy, prepping for it. So, since I don't have a car right now, I plan to, take my bike down there. Or, it's not my bike, I'm actually borrowing a bike from my friend. Because he's not really using it, so. So yeah, just buying some stuff to get the bike ready. So hey Rocco, welcome back. I've been doing alright. Hopefully the same to you too. Congrats on the new job. I'm still looking for a better one. Again, this is just a temp job. Hype chats don't really make sense when bits kind of do the same thing. Like, I get the appeal. I get where Twitch was trying to go with hype chats, because like hype chats, hype chats are like super chats. I mean, they're literally the same thing because, you know, YouTube always steals shit from Twitch, so I think it's Twitch's turn to steal something from YouTube, right? But I get the appeal, or I get where they were trying to go with that, because it's like, you know, it's basically the same as a super chat where it's like, oh, you have this big highlighted message in chat and shit like that. But yeah, functionally it doesn't really work because, yeah, we already have bits. So it's like, why bother, you know, like why bother with hype chats when bits already does the same thing. I think even if they do away with hype chats, I think they should update bits to where bits kind of behave like hype chats do right now, where once they get rid of hype chats, assuming they do, they should how should I say this? They should update bits where whenever somebody donates bits, their bits message kind of shows up, but kind of like hype chats do right now. So they should just do that instead. Like, why not? Do I play Reverse 1999? I've heard of it. I've seen people play it. I don't play it right now. I'm not playing it right now myself. One of the reasons why is I just don't have the time. Don't have the time. I don't have the money. Because, you know me, whenever I start playing gachas, you know I love to spend money on them. Had I been in a more fortunate position, I think I might have been able. I think I might have actually started 1999, but as of right now, I cannot. Maybe I'll pick it up later once if I feel like if I feel like I can, but as of right now, no. But I have seen people play it. Seems interesting. Exactly 5 of these. What's their comps? Who, Furina? Who doesn't she work with? Yeah, who doesn't she work with is the better question. I would imagine Hyper Bloom and, yeah, Hyper Bloom is probably going to be your best team. At least as far as I can tell. Assuming her Hydra application is actually good enough. I assume it is. Why wouldn't it be? Okay. Up here. Hopefully it won't be too stressful to work. Yeah, hopefully not. It is just a part-time, so it's not a full shift, just a half shift, so about 4 hours. It's a night shift, but I'm usually awake at that time of night anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal for me. Shouldn't be. My all-game screen is back. Yeah, I brought it back for this stream. I haven't done it in a while, so decided to bring it back. And people would prefer having their donos show up on stream than on chat. Well, super chats all show up on stream too. If that's what you're concerned about. And I'm sure people could come up with could make what is it, plugins to where they can have hype chats show up on stream too. I mean, they were able to do that for bits, so it's like why wouldn't they be able to do that for hype chats? Unless people have found that, oh wait a minute, hype chats actually don't work with stream plugins or stream overlay plugins or whatever. But I find that very strange if that were the case. Too many gachas to manage. Surprisingly, I can manage more gachas. I mean, I have said that I will be playing Wuthering Waves, Arknight's Enfield whenever that game comes out, for an open beta or whatever. I will most likely be playing ZZZ or Z3, MiHoYo's next game, whenever that shit wants to finally come out. And of course, Girls Frontline too. So there's 4 more gachas that I want to play myself. So we'll see if I can keep up with all of them. But amazingly, I still got room in me for some more. We'll see if I can actually keep up with all of them. Another question. Is Furina's weapon good on any other DPS character? Not really. The problem with this is that, let's see. Yeah, the problem with, Fontaine characters, you have to remember, you have to keep in mind, Naruto, Fontaine characters are, with the exception of a few other characters outside of Fontaine, like Hu Tao, most Fontaine characters have some sort of mechanic in their gameplay, in their kits, where they lose HP constantly. Wriothesley has that when he activates his skill. Furina obviously has that when she activates her skill. I don't think Charlotte has something like that yet, or I don't think Charlotte has anything like that where she loses HP constantly just from her using her skill or whatever. At least I don't think so. Who are the other Fontaine characters? Where's Novolet? Is he Hydro? Yeah, he's be around here somewhere. Novolet obviously has that whenever he starts charge attacking. Lenny has that with his... I know he loses HP somehow. I forget how exactly. Probably through his charge attack, I think. Something like that. I'm pretty sure he loses HP. And then finally, his sister Lynette, right over here. Yeah, and also Lynette loses HP whenever she uses her skill somehow. I forget exactly how. Most, with the exception of like 2 of them, I think. Who is it? I think yeah. What's her fucking name? Charlotte? Yeah, Charlotte and Fremine. Those 2 are the only Fontaine characters who don't lose HP. Everybody else do, or everybody else does. And the problem is that most of the characters in Genshin don't have that issue, or don't have that mechanic, I should say, except for Hu Tao. And even then, Hu Tao isn't really a good example because she only loses HP whenever she uses her skill. And it's not constant HP drain, like all the other Fontaine characters do, or like most of the Fontaine characters have. So the problem with tossing Splendor over to other sword users is that what other sword user in the game has the mechanic of constantly losing their HP, like on their own, and not including like elemental DOTs or, you know, whatever. The thing is that Furina actually turns anybody on your team, any character into the game, and basically into a Fontaine character, because her offensive skill saps HP from everybody. So technically speaking, if you have Furina, then that means that you can use Fontaine weapons on anybody. The problem is that if you have Furina, if you only have 1 copy of Splendor, who else do you give Splendor to? You give it to Furina. You're not going to give it to anybody else. It doesn't make sense. Unless you get lucky and you get like 2 copies of Splendor, then it kind of makes sense. But even then, you would need a character who's ideally you would need a character who's a sword user who scales off of HP instead of attack. And how many HP scaling characters who use swords do we have? Like Cookie and Layla? And they're not exactly DPSs now, are they? Yeah. Layla's one, and then I believe Cookie is the other. Yeah, they both scale with HP, but they're not. You don't really think of them as offensive. You don't really think of them as DPSs now, do you? Maybe Cookie, but if that's the case, you're not going to give her an HP scaling weapon. You'd rather give her something like EM, right? For danger reactions. And for everybody else, I don't know if we have any other HP scaling sword users or one-handers. At least I'm pretty sure we don't. Every other sword user would rather have a sword that has maybe higher base attack. Then again, 88% crit damage is a fucking drug and a half. I mean, hell, I have my Ganyu with Aqua Simulacra and she does pretty well. Because, you know, 88% crit damage is 88% crit damage. So you can even despite the low base attack, you could still probably get away with giving this to somebody else. But yeah, your main problem is you need to have Furina. Furina probably would prefer having her own Splendor, which means you have to have 2 copies of Splendor. And obviously most people don't have 2 copies of Splendor. Because you have to give one to Furina herself and then give that one to somebody else too. And you got to put Furina on the same team as them. You see the problem here? So no, Splendor is not really good on anybody else just because of that mechanic. It would be one thing if Splendor didn't have the HP change mechanic. If it didn't have this and it had something else instead, then that's fine. You could give this. You could probably give this to whatever other DPS one-hander. They'd be fine, I think. But because it has that HP change mechanic, no, you're kind of shit out of luck. So no, I wouldn't recommend it on anybody else really, unless you know what you're doing. Some gameplay tutorial. Movable column, blah blah blah. Crystal receiver node. Sometimes blah blah blah. It's supposed to be like above me or some shit. Oh no, it's just this thing. Okay. Well, maybe I'll be able to figure out what the fuck that does one day. Something funny you want to bring up is that you were watching one of YouTube's CC and they were doing a small rant on Fire Emblem Heroes. Basically, one of the new female characters unironically asks you, the player, to make a baby with them. Nice. I mean, yeah, at this point, certain gachas are pretty like thinly veiled in how they try to bait players into we're only for new characters, ha ha ha. Just gotta be more selective with spending on games. I mean, personally, for the foreseeable future, I ain't gonna be spending much at all on gacha. Like, I'll try to roll Quofu if I can on Star Rail, because her banner's coming up soon. But if I can't get her with my naturally acquired, you know, acquired stellar jades, then I'm not gonna, you know, spend any money to try to get her. Furina is my last whale session, her and her weapon, for the foreseeable future, until such time comes when I can afford to, you know, spend money on gachas again. And yeah, Bunny Toki was the last time I actually dropped money to get a new character. But from now on, I'm not going to be spending any more on Blue Archive because I just can't. So Bunny Toki will be the last Blue Archive character that I actually spend money for. And so will everybody else. I think the next time I spend money will probably to pick up Roberta's and who was the other character in Arknights whose skin I wanted? It was, yeah, and Irene's. Yeah, Roberta's and Irene's. I'll probably spend some money to pick up their skins before the event is over. But that's pretty much going to be it. That and maybe like one or two other things, one or two other like minor things that I can afford to spend money on. Why did she teleport back there? Nilo, maybe? Maybe Nilo, sure. Maybe Nilo. But again, you have the same problem of having to run Nilo and Furina on the same team. Which, that actually wouldn't be a problem, because you want to run double Hydro and double Dendro anyway for Nilo Super Bloom. So I guess for her, it's actually not a big deal. That assumes Super Bloom. I forget if Super Bloom actually takes crits into account. Like if Super Blooms can actually crit. With Nahida, maybe. I mean, you're gonna run Nahida. Ideally, if you want to run like the strongest Super Bloom team you can, then yeah, you run Nahida and Nilo together anyway. So I would imagine Furina being on the same team just kind of makes that team go burr. I would imagine. Again, assuming Super Blooms do crit. I mean, it's Dendro. I would expect they do. What's up to? Remember watching all my YouTube videos during the Common Arms era with other people like Igo Aaron and the others? Yeah, I remember. I recognize that name. Igo Aaron. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? But yeah, thanks for watching those videos, man. It was fun making them while it lasted. Also, Kuni, sorry for not getting to your sub. I also don't think the sub thingy showed up on stream, or at least I didn't hear it. Hopefully it works now. But yeah, thanks so much for the 7-month resub. Welcome back. What Android emulator do you use? LD Player. Out of all the emulators I've tried, I like LD Player the most. I've tried Nox. I actually used to use Nox a little bit back in the day. That was my first emulator that I think I tried. But when I've switched over to my new PC, I tried using BlueStacks, but then BlueStacks kind of shit the bed for me. So I tried LD Player, and LD Player has been working just fine. Like for somebody like me who prior to picking up prior to like trying to get into like emulators so that way I can manage all my gachas, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing with emulators. LD Player was like the easiest to set up and run. Like it even let an idiot like me figure out how to do things like multi-instance and shit like that. So that way I can have all my gachas running at the same time. So if I can figure that shit out, then you know, on LD Player, then I can only recommend LD Player. It's been the best to me so far. So easy to set up, easy to run, easy to figure out. Blah blah blah. What else? What am I doing here? Yeah. And thanks 100 bits, people. Let me just go waste these real quick. What's the game right on my camera? That game is called Snowbreak Containment Zone. It's a third-person shooter gacha. Sorry for disappearing. Little Butter tried to ooh, that's been kind of rough for you. Don't worry, Zara, you haven't really missed much because I haven't really been streaming that much myself either, because I've been preparing to go to my my new temp job soon. My new seasonal temp job that I was able to pick up. And I'll be starting later this week on Friday, so I've been prepping for that a little bit, just getting all the paperwork done and attending an orientation, shit like that. But yeah, hopefully things get better for you. You and your brother, obviously. Is C1 Furina worth it over a sword? Let the people rejoice as her ult. She gained 150 fanfare. Additionally, fanfare limit is increased by 100. I would assume it just increases her damage output, is what I would assume. Yeah, it's just a straight damage increase. I think the main reason actually why people are recommending C1 Furina over her sword right now is because the weapon gacha right now is actually pretty trash. Not Splendor itself. Splendor is obviously really good for Furina. Because it'd be strange if her own weapon wasn't her own BIS, then, like, what the fuck was the point of even releasing it? But the main reason is people don't want to roll for Jadefall Splendor, the green donut. Like, people don't want to risk losing the rate up chance to getting Baiju's weapon, because, like, why the fuck would you want that? Like, almost nobody uses Baiju, and so why the fuck would you want his weapon? Like, his weapon is like, his weapon is basically Moonglow, Kokomi's weapon version 2. HP scaling, support donut for the most part. Like, why? Why would you, people don't want to risk their rolls for that. At least I think that's the main reason. Been enjoying Melt Risley with Toma and Bennett. Apparently, there is a teleporter directly beneath me. Can we know what job you got? Basically just a packing job at Amazon. So it's shit that I should actually know already. Or at least things that I'm actually already used to, because I used to do a little bit of that back at my old job. Nice Toki you got there, yeah. You have to Baiju's weapon? Yeah, exactly, Naruto. People don't want to, I think the main reason why people are saying not to roll weapon banner is because of what happened to you. Because people don't, are like, what are you gonna do with Baiju's weapon? Like, now that you have it. Do you even have Baiju? Like, who do you even have who can even use, Jadefall Splendor? What's good about this game compared to games like World of Warcraft? Well, first of all, I don't think you should be comparing those two games. But I mean, since we are, since that's the question, I guess we have to. I want to say that I was gonna say that compared to World of Warcraft, Genshin is super casual. But then again, there's plenty of casual players who play WoW. Mainly, they play retail, I think. Mainly, you have to understand that Genshin is a gacha game. And if you are not familiar with gacha games, because you don't play them, or you know, you may have heard, yeah, because you don't play them, but you've heard of like Genshin, and you're like, well, why do people always talk about this Genshin game? Yeah, I think we have to start there. Genshin is a gacha game, and what a gacha game is, the core mechanic of gacha games is this, what you're seeing right now. It's every gacha game has some sort of it's basically a big fat microtransaction, basically a loot box. You spend in-game currency or premium currency to try to, we call them rolls, to try to roll for a new character, or for some gacha games that they have it, their weapons too. Most gacha games only have character gacha, Some of them have weapons, but not all. But mainly it's for the characters. This is the main reason why gachas are popular. Is because people want characters. Gacha games live and die by their characters. If gacha games don't have good characters, then there's no point in rolling them. That means they fail, at least theoretically. Yeah, that's their main pull. Whereas I don't play WoW. I only watch people play WoW. In fact, I only started paying attention to WoW ever since I started watching Asmongold, like a couple months ago. But from what I can tell from watching people play WoW or watching Asmongold talk about WoW, like you can create your character, right? That's cool, but it's not quite the same as, say, like playing a gacha game and then like rolling for a character. It's a little bit different. And if you don't play gachas, I don't expect you to understand that. I don't say that, and I'm not trying to say that in like a condescending way. I'm just trying to say it as a matter of fact. But yeah, it's mainly because of the characters. You kind of have to have like an affinity for, anime characters to begin with. It's mainly because of that. But obviously there's other characteristics too. Genshin Impact is the first gacha game. I've been playing gacha games for the past six and a half years. Most of the time, gacha games look like something like most of my other gacha games that you see around my screen. They're like meant for phones, obviously. So there's only a certain amount of immersion you can get playing gacha games, right? Genshin Impact is the first gacha game, to my knowledge, that has successfully been able to play like an actual AAA game, like a, dare I say, normal game in quotes. Like, you can control your character directly. You can run around with them in the overworld, shit like that. Beat up enemies and all that bullshit. It plays like an actual normal game. Not only that, but I think out of all of the open world gacha games that have come out since, I still think Genshin looks the best. It absolutely nails the art style. Their 3D models are still among the best that I've seen out of all of the 3D gachas I've seen out there. So even though it's the first successful one, it's still one of the best, if not the best, as far as like its art style and aesthetic is concerned. Like, they really nailed the art style and the models for this game for the most part. There's like minor gripes that we have here and there as Genshin players, but they're minor. Overall, this game pretty much knocks it out of the park with its visual presentation and its visual style. Surprising we have these platforms here. That's so cool how you explain it. I'm probably, I don't mean to sound, like, arrogant or anything, but, I do consider myself one of the, am I getting targeted by what? I will say I'm one of the most qualified to talk about, gachas in general. As you can see, I play a whole shit ton of gachas, 10 of them to be exact. And I actually play all of them, sometimes at the same time, but... yeah, I have got quite a lot of experience talking about degenerate gachas. Can I do this again? Oh yeah, this is a multi challenge. Huh? It's the first time I've seen this. I actually don't think I've ever seen a challenge like this. That oh yeah, there is this thing. Thankfully, I actually landed on the water here. Can we disable this? Man, that's what we've been getting targeted by. Oh, So yeah, if you have any more specific questions about like gacha games and stuff, feel free. If you'll allow me to explain gacha games to you. Do you like the new Furina Archon quest? I have not done it yet. I've heard good things about it though. I hear that it has plenty of suffering, which I quite enjoy. One of my favorite pastimes when playing gacha games, watching gacha characters suffer immensely, because you can't have a good gacha game without some degree of suffering. If there's no suffering, where's the fun in that? It really looks really cool. What is it about? Is it about farming items, doing raids, or PvP? So remember how I said Genshin is usually very casual? There is nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, but for the most part, Genshin is very casual. There's not really much of a grind to this game. At least if you don't feel like doing it. This game does not require you to grind anything. So, like I explained earlier, gacha games are mainly about characters. So I guess it's kind of similar to WoW in that sense, where it's like, oh yeah, you play a character and then you try to level them up and gear them out, stuff like that. So it's the same for it. In that sense, it's actually pretty similar. Genshin is actually pretty similar. Gacha games in general are pretty similar. Where, for example, you have, I don't know, let's use Furina here. You have Furina. When you roll a character from gacha, assuming that you actually are able to pull them, they start out at level 1, right? My Furina is level 90. Recently got her there. But as you can see here, like my Charlotte's not level 80 yet. That's because all characters and all the weapons too, for that matter, in Genshin, and as is the case with all other gacha games, when you first obtain a character, when you first obtain a weapon, they all start out at level 1, and it's up to you to level them up, and make them strong, right? Same thing as leveling up a character in WoW, right? At least, I assume so. I don't know if in WoW you need to level up weapons too, or like you need to upgrade skills or anything like that, but I do know you have to level a character, and obviously that makes a difference. But in gacha games, Genshin specifically, because we're using this as an example, you level up every character because they start at level 1. Max levels for characters is level 90. You also need to get them a weapon, at least one. Ideally, I mean, technically you can run them with like their default weapon, which is like the shittiest weapon in the game, like these level 1 dull blades or whatever, and you know, you can work with that if you want, but if you don't feel like using anything else. But ideally you want to give them something that's a little better. Like one that has like a main stat, so to say. So yeah, assuming you choose weapon for them, you gotta level that one up too, because they also start out at level 1. So they also have a max level cap of level 90. So yeah, you level them too. They also have skill levels. We call them talents, or they're called talents in this game. And these can also be leveled too. They all start out again at level 1, and their max level is 10. However, most characters cannot reach level 10, because in order to reach level 10, you need to have, let's say, you would need to have an item called Crown of Insights. These are exclusive items that you can only get, I think, once or twice a patch. Once usually whenever we have a major event, which is usually every patch, and then you can get a couple more whenever from like each region specific, like, I don't know how to explain it to somebody who doesn't know gachas. Like there are areas in each region of Genshin where you can exchange like materials you get just from exploring and opening like treasure chests and whatever, and exchanging for other rewards, like more like gacha pulls or whatever. And I think every 10 levels, like 5, 15, 25, whatever. What is it? Yeah, you get a Crown of Insight. And you must have these items in order to level a talent to 10. If you don't have one, you can't do it. You can farm for every other material that your talents need, but you must have a Crown of Insight. So getting a character to max talents, like for example, for some of my characters like Yelan and Mona, that actually matters. Like if you see somebody with a Genshin character who has like a maxed out talent at like level 10 or something, you know they use the crown, which means that they probably like the character a lot, enough to throw them a crown at least. And then so yeah, you have to level your talents. Constellations are your dupes. You can't really level these unless you roll for more copies from gacha. So that's something. Usually this involves having more money. So, I don't know if you consider that, something. Constellations actually do matter. So extra dupes actually do matter. They change the way your characters play. Usually for the better. Some characters have some weird constellations where it's like maybe you don't want to use them, but they're there anyway. But for most characters, more constellations or more dupes is usually a good thing. Just makes them better. And then lastly, this is where the real grind is if you care to do it. So in WoW, you grind gear, obviously. Right? You grind dungeons to try to get good drops or whatever. This is basically the same idea, where these are called artifacts. This is basically your character's gear, other than their weapons, of course. And this is where they're getting, like, I would say about 60% of the stats, 60 or 70% of the stats. The rest of the 30 comes from their ascension stats, the levels, the stats they get from just leveling up, and of course their weapon. But like the other 60 to 70% they're getting from their artifacts. This is where the major grind of this game comes from. Grinding for artifacts. So every character in the game can equip up to 5 artifacts, and there are a lot of different kinds, kinds of artifact sets. Where if you give them either if you have 2 pieces or 4 pieces from the same set, they get additional bonuses, as you can see on the side there. So ideally, if you wanna, ideally every character has like a sort of best in slot artifact set, and like stats that they really want to have. So for example, this character named Furina, she scales off of HP. A lot, like she scales heavily off of HP. Specifically, if you have a C0 Furina like I do, she actually wants an HP cup. As opposed to a Hydro Cup, because normally most characters would prefer having a Hydro Cups, but in Furina's case at C0, she actually prefers HP from what I hear. So that's why my Furina has an HP, because my Furina is only C0. At C1, I think it changes to her best in slot being a Hydro Cup specifically. But I don't have to worry about that, at least not right now, until such time comes that I roll another copy of Furina. So yeah. The artifacts are the main grind of this game. The reason why is because obviously I don't know how WoW stats work, but in Genshin at least, Genshin has a traditional like crit rate system, right? You give characters more crit rate, more crit damage. The higher those numbers are, the more damage they do, obviously. You also have some other stats, like the other important stats are like energy recharge, because energy recharge determines how fast characters get their ultimates. Called elemental bursts in this game, which is called mults. And then the other important stat is elemental damage, or elemental damage type. If for example my Furina had a Hydro damage cup, you would see her elemental damage stat down here, Hydro, have like some number on it. Obviously she doesn't have one, so there's none there. If I were to switch over to my Mona, for example, my Mona actually does have a Hydro damage cup, and so she has 61% Hydro damage bonus. Everything else is kind of like whatever. But so the main ones are like crit stats, ER, and then whatever their elemental damage is, or elemental stat is. Sometimes healing bonus can be important, but that's mainly for the healers. And even then, only mainly for Kokomi, because Kokomi actually scales with healing bonus for some reason. So yeah, the reason why the artifacts are the grindiest is because there is no cap to your crit rate or crit damage. Like there's no theoretical ceiling for stats in Genshin. Obviously there is one for crit rate, because there's like if you have over 100% crit rate, it doesn't matter. So technically, there's a hard cap on crit rate, but the game will actually let you have more than 100% crit rate if your artifacts are actually that good. It's just like, do you really want to run that? Because there's no point in having more than 100% crit rate. Like, at that point, all of your characters' attacks are basically crits anyway, so anything above that is whatever. So technically, there's a hard cap, but for crit damage, there is no cap. Like, you get your crit damage as high as you can. The issue is that you need to strike a balance between good crit rate and good crit damage. Because obviously, if you have like 300 crit damage, that's great. But if you only have 10% crit rate, then what the fuck is the point, right? If only 10% of your attacks are critting for 300% crit damage, then like why even bother, right? At that point, it's much better to run like 100% crit rate, but only like 100% crit damage, something like that, for more consistent damage output. So yeah. The idea, the struggle with Genshin stats is, how do you, with a limited number of artifacts and the RNG that's involved, be able to achieve a good enough crit stat line that you're happy with, alongside having good enough energy recharge for most characters, because most characters need to worry about all three. Some characters can get away with not having to worry about energy recharge. For example, Hu Tao, I think. Hu Tao doesn't really care. Her and Yoimi, I think, are two of the examples that I can think of right out of the top of my head. But most characters actually want to consider all three. But yeah. Artifacts are your main grind. And to be fair, if you want to take Genshin like this seriously, like to the point where the same point as me and other Genshin streamers and other hardcore Genshin players do. I feel like calling ourselves hardcore is weird in the context of comparing this to WoW, because WoW actually has a hardcore mode. But you know, we're definitely not casual. So what else are we gonna call ourselves? But yeah, like artifacts are definitely the grindiest part about this game, because when you farm for artifacts, yeah, there's so many levels of RNG that are associated with artifact farming. God, where do I start? Every artifact, or 3 artifact types. So as you can see, every character has 5 artifact types. They're all distinct. They're all different. Each different artifact type goes into each slot. So there are 5 types. There's your let's start from the beginning. There's your cup, there's your timepiece, there's your feather, your flower, and your crown, or your circle. I think the official name is circlet. Your circlet, your cup, and your timepiece, they all have their own variable main stat. Every artifact in the game has one main stat that they can roll, and up to 4 substats. So this is your main stat. These are your substats. Your feathers and your flowers have fixed main stats. Your flower is HP flat HP main stat, and then feather is flat attack main stat. So for these 2 artifacts, you don't need to worry about RNG main stats because they don't have any. They only have 1. So these 2 are the easiest artifacts to farm for, because the only thing you need to worry about is substats. That's it. So typically, unless you get very lucky and get like an artifact that has the exact main stat you're looking for, along with very good substats that you're happy with, then outside of those situations, and obviously they don't happen a lot, feathers and flowers are the easiest artifacts to farm for, because again, fixed main stat. All you need to worry about is substats. On the other hand, circlets have how many main stats? 4? 5? They have let's see. They have attack, defense, and HP %. They have crit, double crit, so crit rate, crit damage. They have EM, and they have healing bonus. So how many is that? 3, double crit, EM, and healing bonus. So 7 different main stats that they can roll every time you do an artifact run. I think that's 7. I might be missing one. Cups are the hardest to farm for a specific main stat, because it includes the default 3 stats: attack, defense, HP. It has all of the elements that are possible in the game, and I believe there's 7. Yeah, should be 7. and it has elemental mastery. So that's 11 different main stats, something like that. And then Timepiece has, I think, 4 or 5. It has the 3 usual attack, defense, HP, and it's got ER or energy recharge, and again elemental mastery. So that's like 5 or 6. So yeah, not only need to worry about main stats for all 3 of these artifacts, but on top of that, you need to have substats. And substats are their own personal nightmare of RNG. Because when you first roll a gold artifact, for example, gold artifacts are what you want to roll, or what you want to farm because they're the best rarity, the highest rarity, and so they have the best stat rolls and the chance of getting a 4-line start, which is exclusive only to 5-star rarity artifacts. So yeah, when you first do an artifact